Welcome to Colts Talk, presented by Prize Picks. Billy BB back with you, and we are back to talking Anthony Richardson trade rumors. Look, we've gotten some recent news with Richardson attending OTAs and voluntary workouts. The news we got the other day, not rescinded his trade offer. He has not said like, oh, we're all good now, I'm coming to this, and don't worry about trading me. No, he is at everything for the Colts, but he still wants traded. We got recent news of that, and that's why ESPN came out with an article talking about possibly more Anthony Richardson trade rumors, fits, ideas, all of that. Here's ESPN's Stephen Holder on kind of the current thought behind trading Richardson. With most quarterback roles around the league already filled, Indianapolis's attempts to deal him might not be fruitful. Any team that trades for Richardson before August 1st would pay him basically $5.4 million for 2026. But if he's dealt after his August 1st roster bonus is paid, the amount he's owed drops to $1.145. Now, this is notable. Number one, we get the news that he has not rescinded his trade offer. And number two, we get the idea of like, hey, it's going to be cheaper to trade for Anthony Richardson at this point in time, right? After August 1st. Basically, we're into training camp. And again, we've talked about like somebody goes down, quarterback issues happen, like things like that. Then that trade could happen. So yes, the Anthony Richardson deal of being traded is alive and well and will continue to be alive and well really for another year until he is officially off the Indianapolis Colts. But we'll see how you guys are feeling on it. Give us a number. Percent chance Anthony Richardson gets traded. Could be today, tomorrow, 5 weeks from now. What is the percent chance the Colts deal AR? Let us know with the percentage down below. ESPN wasting no time getting to trade ideas. And this was kind of an interesting article because we got multiple personalities with multiple trade proposals, which I actually think is kind of fun. Get different standings and ideas and thoughts behind the trades. So we begin with Jeremy Fowler. His idea for a Colts trade to the Green Bay Packers. Yes, this one is nothing new, right? With the Richardson to the Packers. In this scenario, Indy would acquire a 5th-round pick. Initially, I think we talked about a 6th not too long ago with the Packers and the trade there. Straight up, Packers get Anthony Richardson, and the Colts get a 2027 5th-round pick. Now, we need to note, Tyrod Taylor, it's Tyrod Taylor, is the new backup quarterback for the Packers. Malik Willis obviously gone. Now it's Tyrod Taylor. They also have a young Kyle McCord who's finding his way in the league. That's why we've ruled this trade out or kind of said like, hey, it's unlikely because they needed a backup. That was the reason for the trade. Got a backup. So where are we at right now? And again, the deal with Richardson, still recovering, by the way, said we've not gotten 100% healthy with the orbital fracture at this point in time. And as ESPN kind of noted there, should be considered if they want to get him now. If any team wants to get him right now, you're going to pay that $5.39 million. Was a cap hit, but the Colts have technically paid his first bonus as of right now. So it's down to 5.39. There's a roster bonus due in August. So teams may truly wait till after August 1st. But we do know he has agreed to seek a trade and has not rescinded the idea of getting a trade done in general with Anthony Richardson. And look, I think this works for the Colts to get rid of Anthony Richardson and make the trade there. That part makes sense, right? They get a 5th-round pick in this scenario, and they get rid of Anthony Richardson. I think that works for Richardson. He wanted to play from a certain coaching tree, and LaFleur is part of that, right? That's the deal there. So it works for Richardson, works for the Colts, does not work for Green Bay, in my opinion. That is my thought on this one. The Packers, again, have their backup quarterback. That's number one. That's kind of where we're at. And then every Anthony Richardson to the Packers trade is backed by, look what they did with Malik Willis. No doubt about it. Great story. They trade for this basically failed quarterback from the Titans and turn him into a very good backup. Big difference here. You would only get 1 year of Anthony Richardson. And look, that's basically a deal breaker. I think a lot of these teams might get close to making the trade, might really consider the trade. Then they say to themselves, man, but then at the end of the year, we got to redo, we got to figure out a contract. We got to talk to him, see how he likes it. Maybe he walks away, we get nothing, so on and so forth. So I don't really get it from the Packers' point of view. You trade draft capital, you get 1 year of Richardson, and then what? Hopefully you keep him. Again, you're going to go through that effort for a backup. I think it works for just about everybody but the Packers in that scenario there. Reminder, today's show is presented by America's #1 sports picks app. That is Prize Picks. You have the ability to win cash while watching sports on Prize Picks. That's my favorite part. And I know right now the basketball playoffs are going on. I was just showing a buddy how to put a lineup together for the basketball playoffs. It's easy because you just pick more or less on a few player stats, then you lock in your lineup. If you're a baseball fan, you can go with hits, home runs, strikeouts. Basketball, I was showing him, we went with points, rebounds, three-pointers, and assists for the playoff games going on not too long ago. Example for football coming up. And this is a season-long lineup to put together here. Kenyon Sadiq, more on his receiving yards. The Jets got to figure it out on offense. Got to find somebody to throw there. Jordan Tyson, receiving touchdowns. We're going more as well. We're really excited about this rookie group that we had put together here. And Caleb Downs, got to find an interception or two at that nickel position that he's leaning into. We like that, so we went more on his 1.5 interceptions. By the way, with the new social feeds feature, pay attention here. You can share Prize Picks lineups with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. That includes me and producer Aiden Paris. You follow us on Prize Picks, tailor fade our picks, and even get the picks before we post them on the show. That's at Billy_BB at CSAP. And right now with Prize Picks, they have early payouts. So if your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out your winnings before the game even finishes. Yeah, that's fun there. Also, the new user offer we want to present to you guys. Download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comment section and description. Guess what you'll get? All you have to do is use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you just play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, ESPN's Dan Graziano. Here's his trade proposal. The Colts get Tyson Bagent, backup quarterback Tyson Bagent, for Anthony Richardson. Clean swap, 1-for-1 in this scenario here. Graziano really making it interesting here. And if you're not familiar with Tyson Bagent, he is a Colt hero from 2 years ago. He had a nice little run. Look, small school quarterback. His dad's like an arm wrestling champion, so that was like a fun little part of it. And he had a nice little run, but it's been since 2023 that Tyson Bagent has actually started a game for the Chicago Bears. And he has this year and next year left on his contract at $10 million. He believes, from what I went through reading through the trade scenarios, he believes he is set to be a starter in this league one day. He said it is inevitable he'll be a starter, and not so many words there. Here's Graziano's reasoning behind the trade. I don't see anyone giving up a pick for Richardson at the moment. The Bears dangled Bagent in trade offers earlier this offseason, and here he likely gives the Colts a better backup option than Riley Leonard. Richardson gets to learn from Bears coach Ben Johnson and maybe show enough in the preseason that he becomes appealing to another team in a trade. Heck, maybe Johnson has some ideas for how to use him in a package or two. This theme of Anthony Richardson gets to learn from genius coach is so interesting to me. It's in every trade. It's like, okay, great, thanks, I guess. But hey, I want to hear from you guys on this one. The Colts get a backup quarterback in Tyson Bagent. They trade a backup quarterback in Anthony Richardson. Grade the trade, A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know on Dan Graziano's trade proposal. So this one, I was talking to producer Aiden Paris about this too. We finished out, and I was like, I didn't even know Bagent was like on the trade block. They just gave him this extension, this new contract. And I don't know if they immediately regretted the money or if it's just like that was the plan all along, was like let him play a couple games and trade a team that needs a backup or even a starter, like trade him eventually. I'm down. I would do this gladly. You get 2 years of Bagent. I think he's a real like fun, good backup quarterback. No, he has not started in a hot minute. And he's more thrills than like stable win games quarterback, but that's what a backup is sometimes, right? You do just enough to keep your job and keep your team in the game, and that's kind of where I'm at with Bagent. I gave this trade a B+. I really like it for Indy. I like the idea of it. So I didn't know Bagent was on the trade block, but hey, I could get into it if the Colts were to swap straight up, no picks, Richardson for Bagent. I could kind of get excited about that one. Let's stay in the division here. Bears and now Lions. Benjamin Solak, his proposal. In this one, the Colts get a 2027 fourth-round pick for Anthony Richardson. Clean swap with the Detroit Lions here. The Lions would get their backup quarterback, essentially, at this point in time. This was another I didn't know. I don't know. I fancy I know enough about the NFL, obviously, doing the shows here and paying attention and whatever. I didn't know the Lions were just so slim at quarterback. I mean, it is Jared Goff, years later Teddy Bridgewater from being a starter. Even years later from being any sort of backup Teddy Bridgewater. And then Luke Altmaier, undrafted free agent. Yeah, Luke Altmaier, who, look, impressed at Illinois, and I believe we talked about him here on Colts Talk a couple times. But yeah, it was essentially noted in the ESPN article, like, the Lions haven't had a good backup quarterback in a minute. They've struggled to hold together with the backup quarterbacks. Goff stayed healthy. Goff stayed pretty healthy and has done really well. And, some teams just don't think that way. But I could actually see the Lions being interested here, right? Might be worth the risk for them. Might make them feel better about their backup quarterback option here and kind of where they stand. But, I still kind of look and I still kind of think, and look, I feel like a 5th-round pick at this point in time still feels a little high for the Lions and Colts to swap here. All right, now Seth Walder from ESPN. Once again, we're in the same division here. Now it's the Vikings in this scenario. The Vikings giving up a 5th-rounder in 2027 to get their hands on Anthony Richardson. We actually have talked about the Vikings a lot here on the show as a potential AR trade destination. But once again, we kind of flew out of it when it was like they got Kyler Murray, so then it's JJ, Kyler, no need for another quarterback. Walder didn't care. Walder still just kind of thought, like, why not give another quarterback into the mix here? He noted Richardson can come to the Kevin O'Connell School of Quarterbacks and learn behind another cute mobile QB in Kyler Murray, who is on just a 1-year contract with Minnesota. Richardson's deal expires in 2027 too, but his acquisition would give the Vikings more options going forward. That's what they need, right, is the third quarterback option here. He also notes maybe Murray works out great and becomes the long-term starter in Minnesota, or maybe Murray heads elsewhere and the Vikings see enough growth from Richardson to keep him around. So, as I said, we discussed this for the Vikings and Anthony Richardson. This would work perfect. I thought this was a good fit. I thought this was a lottery ticket the Vikings should buy in on, right? That was before Kyler Murray. They got Kyler Murray. They signed him. And so far, it looks like Kyler Murray's low-key in the lead to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings at this point in time. It works before Kyler. It works the whole situation. Heck, it works 2 weeks ago. Maybe it works out, with Kyler and JJ and throw him in there. Maybe that could have happened 2 weeks ago, right? The problem now is those guys are in like a low-key little feud, like a little drama, and there's some quarterback stuff going on, and like hasn't worked well for Minnesota with 2 quarterbacks to start things out. No reason they would have a third quarterback now in the mix at any point. Again, that's pending Kyler going down, Kyler, wanting out or getting hurt or whatever goes on there. Same with JJ. Maybe JJ gets hurt or goes out. But we've seen a lot of drama in Minnesota early. This is before they've really gotten into the summer and really gotten things going. I don't think Anthony Richardson being added to that mix is good for anybody there. Now, I asked you guys the percentage chance AR gets traded. If you're just a person that believes you want him here, you want him to stay, you want the Colts just to hang on to the asset just in case, I get it. Which is why I'm going to give you the opportunity to let us know right now if you want Anthony Richardson to stay in Indy. Spam your ARs in the comment section below. Let's wrap up this discussion because, boy, have we had it before. I'll be honest, we're probably going to have it again with Anthony Richardson and the trade rumors here. ESPN conveyed a lot of the thoughts we've conveyed here on the show. We're like, yes, right now it seems okay. Things seem all right. Everything seems fine. But the farther you get into the summer, the more your situation changes, the more other teams' situation changes. There absolutely is still a market for Anthony Richardson. We need to keep an eye on a possible trade scenario.